You realize you're non binary, and it doesn't feel like a trend or a costume or a political statement. It feels like breathing after holding your lungs hostage for years. It's a relief, a terrifying, liberating relief. Suddenly, your reflection makes a little more sense. Your discomfort has a name. Your body, your voice, your existence, none of it is broken. It's just not binary. And that should be enough. But instead of clarity, you get confusion. People squint at you like you've spoken a spell in reverse. They try to slot you into the two boxes they know, pink or blue. And when you don't fit, they act like it's your fault the shelf collapsed. You tell the world what you are, or rather, what you're not. And the world responds with a collective glitch. People start treating you like a living typo. You become the malfunction in their world view. They stare like your gender is a personal inconvenience to them, like you just canceled their favorite show mid-season. It starts small. A form asks for gender. There are two options. You pick the one that hurts less, or you don't pick either, or you lie. Either way, you're erased before you even enter the room. Then people ask for your pronouns, and they look proud of themselves for asking, right until you answer. Then comes the pause, the hesitation, the polite smile that says, "Why can't you just pick one like everyone else?" Bathrooms become a threat. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, physically. You stand outside the door like it's a trap, because sometimes it is. You pick one, walk in, and hold your breath. You keep your eyes down. You rehearse excuses in your head just in case. You just want to pee, not participate in someone's existential crisis. You go shopping and nothing fits. Not the clothes, not the looks, not the assumptions. The men's section is too aggressive. The women's section feels like trespassing. You try on a shirt and it's either a costume or a confession. And the dressing room mirrors always reflect someone who feels half alien, half fraud. You walk down the street and every step is a gamble. If you look too mask, you get called sir and treated like a threat. If you look too femme, you get called sweetie and treated like a joke. And if you look somewhere in between, you get stared at like you're an optical illusion no one asked for. People whisper or laugh or both. You try to blend in and still somehow stand out. Coming out doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like choosing between silence and constant correction. You come out, and suddenly your name is in quotes. Your pronouns are treated like trivia. People act like respecting them is extra credit, and when they mess up, they make you comfort them. You become a full time emotional support human for other people's guilt. Family gets weird fast. Some ignore it like it's a phase, others weaponize it. Holidays become performances. You show up and your name is wrong, your pronouns are wrong, your existence is wrong, but the ham is good, so no one talks about it. You sit there feeling invisible and too visible at the same time, like a ghost with anxiety. Work is a constant negotiation. You update your email signature, you correct someone once, maybe twice, then you stop. You shrink. You laugh off the wrong name because the HR poster in the break room says inclusion, but your paycheck doesn't cover the cost of being the office activist. You code switch so hard your personality fractures. You hide your discomfort under a spreadsheet. Dating becomes an obstacle course. People want you to explain your gender like it's a menu item. They think it's optional, temporary, performative. They ask if you're really this or actually that. You stop counting how many people say they're open minded and then flinch when you show them who you are. You get ghosted, fetishized, misgendered, sometimes all at once. Love starts to feel like a bet you can't afford to lose. Healthcare is a minefield. Every intake form misgenders you before you even speak. The doctor avoids eye contact when you explain your identity. They nod like they're humoring a child. They make you spell out your gender like it's a secret code. You're there for a sore throat and end up defending your entire existence. Even therapists stumble. They ask if you're sure. They tiptoe around pronouns like they might break. You pay them to misunderstand you. Strangers treat your body like a public debate. Your hair, your clothes, your voice, they become points of contention. People ask what you used to be, like you're a haunted house. They ask what's in your pants, like they're guessing your Hogwarts house. They act like curiosity gives them permission to dissect your identity. You become a museum exhibit labeled confusing, do not touch. The internet is no safe haven. You post a selfie and the comments turn into a war zone. Someone calls you brave. Someone calls you gross. Someone calls you made up. Algorithms bury you unless you perform your gender in ways that makes his people comfortable. You become content instead of a person. You get tagged, tokenized, erased, reposted, and reported, all before breakfast. You start doubting yourself, not because you're confused, but because people keep projecting their confusion onto you. You repeat your identity so many times it starts to sound fake in your own mouth. You reread every message before sending it, just to see how much explaining you'll need to do. You wonder if you're too much, too complicated, too exhausting. You shrink yourself into something more palatable and hate the taste. Even joy comes with conditions. You find clothes that make you feel whole, and someone says you're just looking for attention. You find a name that fits, and people say it sounds made up. You smile in public, and someone calls it political. You exist with confidence, and someone calls it arrogance. You become too proud, too visible, too queer, too non binary, too you. You meet people who say they're allies, but their support feels like a quota. They treat you like a badge of honor. They name drop your identity like it earns them points. They still misgender you, but they vote the right way, so you're supposed to be grateful. You end up teaching people things they could have Googled. You explain yourself so often it becomes a script with footnotes. Sometimes you wonder if it would be easier to choose a side, to pick a label people already recognize, to pretend, just for a while. But pretending hurts worse than misunderstanding. Hiding never leads to healing. You try to remember that. You try to remember that being non binary isn't the problem. The problem is the world's refusal to make space for anything outside the script. You get tired. Not sleepy, not lazy, soul tired. Tired from being questioned, corrected, erased, joked about. Tired from always having to be both soft and sharp, patient and furious. You want to exist without having to explain. You want to wake up and not brace for impact. And still, you move forward. You build a life in the gaps, in the pauses, in the mispronunciations. You find people who see you without subtitles. You find ways to love yourself when the world calls that defiance. You stop apologizing for existing. You are not a phase, not a puzzle, not a punchline. You are not some confused halfway point between two real genders. You are real. The world just wasn't designed with you in mind. But that doesn't make you less. That makes the world less. And every time you show up as yourself, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, you are breaking the mold that tried to contain you. You are proof that people like you exist, that people like you matter, that gender is not a two-option menu. You carry joy like a torch in the dark. You carry pain like armor. You carry yourself, even when no one else knows how. And that's why it sucks. And that's why it matters. And that's why you're still here.